there. Thanks for tuning in to the I'm Not Crazy, I'm Exhausted podcast. Tonight I'm your host every single night, but tonight we get to have beautiful Brianna on with us, and I'm going to let her introduce herself. And if you want to go ahead and tell us your handles so that they know where they can find you.
Sure. My name is Brianna K on YouTube, but on all the other socials, I'm at Bits of Brie. That's also my blog, bitsofbrieblog.com. I am a mom of 2 for now, from Cleveland, Ohio. And I'm very, very passionate about cleaning and organizing and decorating our home. I just decorated today, Lauren. So sneak peek of some of the decorations that I have for Valentine's Day. I try to do this in the spot farthest away from my kids' bedroom so that I don't wake them up, because we just put them down to sleep. So yeah.
Mine are upstairs talking right now. I can hear them. I had 2 of them were down here right as I was like, go upstairs. What is happening? But mine are a little bit older, so I can shoo them.
You'd be like, go up. Yeah.
Yeah, so I can do that. Okay, well, I'm so glad to have you. And so we decided to do a mommy Q&A, which I love.
Yes. I had a couple questions over on Instagram. Do you want to go with yours first, or do you want me to share some that I had?
Let's go. Maybe pick a couple, and we'll go back and forth. Either way, I feel like sometimes the questions need a little bit more information on the answers. You know what I mean? So I don't know how many we'll be able to get through, but let's see what we can do.
Yes. Totally.
Okay, so we'll go ahead and start with...
Should we say quickly how we even know each other?
Oh yeah, we better.
Yeah. So I know I met Lauren just through, I feel like, Instagram and YouTube stuff. Mm-hmm. And you hold a very, very place in my heart, and you know why. When my dad passed away this summer, Lauren was one of the really kind people. She sent our family a meal, and that just always sticks out of when somebody reaches you when you're at your lowest of lows, that's a very special person. So that's how I know Lauren, and I love Lauren. So
so it's interesting, when I came across you, you were just you were going through the process with your dad, and obviously I love my dad, and so feeling that through your page, and I was so drawn to you and how you a woman that loves her family and puts her family first and gives so beautifully. I feel anyways, I could just tell when I came across you that I was I would love to have whatever influence of her in my life, and so so that's kind of I came in right at the
well, that's really, really sweet.
Well, yeah. I'm so glad to have you, and I'm so glad that we are here together. So.
Yeah. It's fun. You're taking me back to my broadcast journalism days in college. I had a podcast I did with girlfriends. So
I love it.
You're bringing me back.
Yeah. I love it so much. When you put up your question bar, did you get a lot of the same questions, or was it pretty broad, or how did you feel that was like?
I feel like I've got a whole bunch of different ones here, so we can really kind of take this wherever we would like to go.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you have a good one to kick us off?
I keep getting this one. I get this one a lot when I do the tap to cleans, which I was totally inspired by you to do those, and my audience loves them. But I love that you do that, because it gives me a little fire in my britches to I can't even talk about my kitchen right now, but
So, don't worry, we all have that space. We all have that Monica's closet somewhere in our house.
But so that's what people are asking. They're like, do you have a secret junk drawer or a secret room or something in your house that is messy? Because it says, do you have a secret junk drawer in your room, or a secret junk drawer, a secret room, or a secret closet? I feel like everyone has it all together but me, is the question.
Oh, our garage, which that was actually one of the things I asked for Christmas, was to my husband. I said, can you just clean out the garage, please? Because it's just, it's scary. I feel like stuff just gets thrown out the garage door all the time. We can only park one car in it. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's just so much junk.
For sure. Ours is the basement isn't finished, but we use it. So it's got really nice carpet. It actually has a beautiful theater down there, but it's not finished. And so in the unfinished spaces, I'm I don't have room for this right now. This needs to go into the basement. And Sean's well, don't throw it. I'm well, it's got to get down the stairs one way or the other, and I'm holding Dawson, so hurry and get home. And mine is my basement. And I do have one drawer in my kitchen.
Oh, see, you're better than me. We had a whole area that I feel junk just piles up on in the kitchen daily.
Oh, it does.
And sometimes I take a bin and I just like swipe everything off the counter into the bin and just take the bin into the laundry room so I don't have to look at it anymore.
I love it.
Sort it later.
That or a trash bag. I'm like, I don't even need this. If it can't get put away, I'm getting rid of
Goodbye.
it. Yeah.
And I should just point out, if anybody is watching this, if you see me like with weird eyes, it's because my computer's there and the camera's here. So it's
I
not
know.
that I am like really weird.
I know. So
where I'm looking.
Mine is like stacked on top of each other. So probably.
See, you've done this before. You're professional.
You're like
clearly
looking at my nose and I'm looking at the camera. Oh, it's cute in there, probably. Okay, what is a good question that you got?
Ooh, okay. This one I think is funny that I think both of us can answer now with our YouTube channels, but how do you explain why you have a camera out to the kids?
Oh, I feel like at this point it's just kind of normal to them. My kids don't ask about it. If I get my camera out, my kids literally do not change what they're doing.
Right. I would say mine are, yeah, it's just been so normalized because I started doing YouTube not seriously. It was more just for my personal use when my son was 3 months old. But I even feel like these days, whether you have a YouTube channel or not, everybody has their phone out taking pictures. Like my friends without YouTube channels have their phones out taking pictures of their kids or like storying their kids. You know what I mean? All the time. So I just think it's so normal for kids of this generation.
For sure. I don't think that it's weird at all. Now, if I get my camera out, like Lila likes to be naked, so she's always like, hang on, Mom, don't film this way. And like you hear like feet running across the house. But
that
like
is so funny.
Yeah, but besides that, she's like, I don't understand why I'm so cold. I'm like, well, you're naked. So but yeah, to them it's very normal. Like it's not, but they also like to watch their videos. Like my kids, they're included in a huge portion of what I do just because mine has done so much of a vlog style. And so then they're like, put us on the TV, and they sing the intro and then they like giggle at what they're doing. They love it.
So cute. Aww.
But
yeah, I feel like, you know, I think probably if you watch my dad, I feel like that was the greatest gift he left us was they bought a video camera like back in the 80s when it was, I guess, rarer to have one or more expensive to get one. And he pretty much like documented from the day I was born, you know, for years of our life and our childhood. And I just think about it in that way. Like, yes, of course, there's like, you could look at anything negatively, but if you look at it from a positive aspect, that they can go back any year and be like, what was I doing at this time? And like see what they were up to. Like that is the coolest gift to give to them. So
I love that so much. Sean's mom did that too. Like my family doesn't really have video footage. I have like a couple of things from when I was like 10, 11, but I was at my cousin's house and it was her family recording. It wasn't mine.
Aww.
So like, but watching Sean like swimming when he was little and like all these things that he's like loves still, and him like recording himself shooting basketball so he could see what he needed to improve. Like there's so many amazing things about video.
Aww. Yeah, that's really, really cool.
Yeah. Oh, I actually like that question because I feel like it is just so, I mean, it's just normal to us.
And I get it. People judge because they're like, isn't that weird? But no, it's just normal.
But it's also kind of nice, like when we go do a family photo shoot, my kids aren't like, why is that lady pointing a camera at me? Ever.
Right.
Like photos we can get our family photos knocked out in under 7 minutes, you know? Like we're fast.
Yeah, like we've got some tricks too. I don't know, I'm sure you know this too with your background.
Yeah.
But the one thing that has made my kids just so like will laugh in front of the camera if that's the kind of like shots you're wanting to get. If you just pretend to like boink the photographer on the head, like my kids just think it's so hysterical and will just stand there looking at the camera laughing. So that is like our go-to trick is like boink the photographer on the head.
That's
and then
so
it's just
cute.
Yeah.
I love that one. I actually do have one trick too I think would be good to share is when you're doing like photos of siblings and you want it to be like more candid and not them looking at the camera. I always like give one sibling something to do with the other siblings. So like if you're doing like a toddler or like a 3 to 5 year old with a baby, like can have them count their toes or ask them where the baby's like curly hairs are or whatever, or ask them if they can tickle the baby with their nose or different things, and it gives them an activity to do with the child, with the baby, so they're doing something, but it's not like act like you like your brother, you know?
Yeah. That's a good one. I love how you do the like line up one though too, like of your monthly pictures. They're so cute. That's my favorite thing. Yeah. I might be stealing that with the third.
Oh my gosh, I just cannot wait for you to have another baby someday. That would be so wonderful.
Even though I don't think I've told you this, I keep having dreams that I'm having triplets.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You can do it.
No, I'm like literally, my like intern, she's like very into like, she's like, it's gonna happen. She's like, if you've had that many dreams, she's like, it's happening. And she's like, when you manifest stuff like that. And I'm like, well, I don't know if I'm manifesting it. I said I was dreaming it.
Oh, that is so funny. Well, I dreamed twins and Dawson was a single.
Okay.
I was sad when they did the ultrasound. I felt like I was missing a baby. I was really sad.
Maybe it means that you're still gonna have another.
Oh,
like that's in my head. I said to her, maybe it means I'm just supposed to have 3 babies, so like it's my third. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm like, maybe that's what it's telling me.
That makes me so excited for you. Yeah. Triplets, you'd be so cute. Oh
my God, I would be so huge. Can you imagine?
I
mean, really, just think of how big you are with one.
Oh.
And then to add 2 more in there.
Oh my gosh. You'd be so. I'll come take pictures of you if you get pregnant with triplets. I'll fly out there. Like, don't move, I'm coming. Oh my God.
I won't be able to. They'll literally be like, you're not allowed to move. Like, you're just gonna have to lay on the couch for a very long time.
Don't move. Oh, that would be so hard.
I know. Yeah. Like, it would. Honestly, that would be like the greatest test of patience in my life. Like,
yeah.
I'm always moving. I never sit down.
Same.
Never. Like, yeah.
Oh my gosh, I literally cannot imagine, but it would be so neat. I have a couple of friends that have triplets and they are like Wonder Women of the entire world. I don't know if you know Desiree Fortin. Her handle's The Perfect Mom. Basically, she's like, life is so busy and life is so hard, and like whatever God gives you in terms of children, you are the perfect mom for them. So if you had triplets, whatever it is, you are the perfect mom for them. Whatever they need.
That's so beautiful. I really, really, really love that.
Yeah, I think it's so neat. Okay, I have a funny.
I'm following her.
Well, you have to follow her. She's so fantastic.
Yeah.
I love her.
Yay.
I did get one funny question that was like, I want to answer this one. It says, how do you keep your cool during the chaos? The real stuff, not the sweet. I just love my kids. Well, I don't think that any person in the entire world can say they're perfect at keeping their cool. I know that I am not, and I work on patience, and my children were given to me to test that patience. That is how it is. And if I've asked 100 times, the 101st time is probably more frustrated than the second or the third. So
yeah,
I can't say that I do all the time. I can say that I'm getting better at it, and I try my hardest, but I don't know.
I think it just depends on the day and the situation too, because like Adam, he'll sometimes get a little mad at me, because I will say, I do think, you know, as partners, I have more the patience with the kids than he ultimately does. But he has other strengths, do you know what I mean? For like raising kids than I do. So sometimes though, I'll even like laugh at something and he'll be like, you cannot laugh at that. I'm like, but sometimes you just have to laugh at it, because it like just gets to be such a, you know, show that you're just like, I just have to laugh. Like I can't do it anymore. The straight face. Like, so sometimes that, but no, I've totally lost my cool, and I always feel bad about it afterwards.
Same.
And like, it happens to everyone.
It does. I feel like I did notice with Chase when he was little that if we gave ourselves the opportunity to start over, so like say he was frustrated as a toddler and I was frustrated as a mom, if I would just say, go into your room, close the door. The second you feel like you can open the door and start over, let's start over. So whatever, but that means he's starting over, but I have to start over too. I can't like hold on to that frustration that he would sit on the floor. No, this was probably more Lila would sit on the floor and just not put her shoes on because she knew I wanted her to. So that was her personality. Like she could have been putting them on, and if I mentioned the word choose, she would be like, well, right now though, but I'm gonna choose just not to, even if she already was doing it, just because. So anyway, so I had to just let go of that. So when he closed that door, it gave us both like a moment, like to like literally close the door on our anger and then open it up fresh. And that's kind of something that we do to start quote unquote over, I guess.
I like that a lot. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Next time I'm gonna take a leaf out of your book. Do that one.
It works better with different kids. So with Chase, it was like the perfect solution. So Lila has a little bit more of my personality in her, so that one is a little harder with that one.
Yeah, I think Landon and I are the most similar. My son, who's the oldest, we just, I think, need to talk things out a lot. Like it helps for both of us to sit there and share just our full-on feelings, and we can usually come to like an understanding and agreement. It sounds like my little girl Presley might be a little bit like you, Lila, because she'll be more like, if something's in her head, like if she's buckling her seatbelt, I mean, it will be DEFCON 5, like full-on meltdown. If I'm like, no, we gotta go, I have to buckle your seatbelt, you know what I mean? Like if she gets something that she wanted that independence to do taken away from her, it's really, really hard. So that's where I have to be like, okay, remember your patience. Is it worth it to have DEFCON 5 right now or not?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It's just, you know what, being a mom can just really be, like, those things are hard. Like, it's not you're not raising babies, you're raising humans, and
yeah,
it can be hard, but it's so neat though. Oh.
Yeah, I know. It's like, it's so fun to see their personalities grow. It truly, truly is. So.
Oh, it is one of the coolest things. Have you read that book, Who You're Meant to Be, or something like that? It starts when they're little, and she's like, I could be sad that this is the last time rocking you to sleep, but I'll get to see who you're meant to be. And she just like goes on and on, like, I could be sad that you're taking steps without me, but I get to see who you're meant to be. And it's her like,
oh, I'm like getting goosebumps.
I know,
it like makes me so sad though.
I know, it's so sad, but then you get to like look at them. I kind of think of like my mother-in-law or my mom, like thinking of like their kids as grown-ups now. Like I talk to my, I get to talk to my mother-in-law, I get to talk to my mom and like hear her stories about like when they were little, but now she has these grown-ups that like are real people contributing to society and doing, their best.
We get really cool jobs for sure.
Okay, do you have another one that you want to?
Instagram shut me out. I'm going back to it right now. Okay. I feel like
it keeps clicking me out too.
I'm trying to see if there's like a good juicy question or something like that.
I have another one, and it's specifically about mom guilt, if you would like to talk about that one.
Okay, yeah, let's talk about that.
This one just says, this is actually from a friend of mine. She's a single mother, and she's in nursing school, and her question is, hi, Michelle. She says, how do you let go of mom guilt?
Mom guilt is so hard, but I think it is just so hard because every single mom, even if you really work on your mindset, because it is like a muscle memory train in your brain, like not to feel that guilt, I think there's still triggers of mom guilt, whatever the situation is. Because whether you're at home, whether you're working, I've like been in both of those worlds where I was working the typical 9 to 5 and had so much guilt around I'm not doing these things for my baby. And now that I am able to be home more, even though my kids still go a certain number of days per week, just depending on my work projects, because I kind of started realizing I can't do it all when I'm at home with them.
Yes.
But yeah, I think it's just one of those things, like you always have that guilt then still of like, oh, am I really the right person to be doing this, or should I have done this differently? And I think it goes back to, I know you're a woman of faith as well, but I do think there's something to faith of like God gave you those babies for a reason, because like you were supposed to show them something from your life that then they're going to apply to their life someday. So I try to think of that and like the moments where like I do feel guilty or feel like I'm not being the best mom, and like remember like, no, like they're yours for a reason. And yeah,
they needed you. I love that one. I think it is so, I feel like in society sometimes there's been an interesting shift like on social media and like on the internet over the last few years, where at first it was all very much like only the good things were posted online, only the good things were taken photos of, only like everything had to be perfect. But then it almost shifted to where it was negative if you did take a minute to make something look nice and stage it and take a photo for it. So it went from like one swing to a far swing the other way. And it was like, well, these women are making it seem not real and making it unattainable. Whereas before, people were like, we want to show you our beautiful things. And then people wouldn't follow you if your stuff wasn't beautiful. And so I feel like society has kind of turned it into a thing where like guilt and like hard things are almost like a badge of honor now. And you like have to share those things. And I think sometimes one of the things that I feel is I almost feel guilty if I don't have some of those feelings that other people might have. So like being a mom is hard. It is, but it is also a blessing. And I feel like there's such a broad range spectrum of mom guilt that we can almost cling to the idea that we're supposed to have guilt, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and there's so much you said on that I would just like love to unpack on like getting ripped apart because you took time and effort to make something look nice, or because that really resonates with me, because I feel like, honestly, I get that a whole lot, but it is my personality. Like, I am the first one to admit I'm a perfectionist. Do I probably waste time with my perfectionism? Yes, but it's who God made me to be. It is what I am. So, you know, pick me apart all you want at this point. And then there's something to what you said about this, like, oh, you need to share the struggle or what's really hard. Sometimes though, to be honest, I feel guilt over doing that. It makes me feel like I am being an ungrateful, you know what, because here I am, like, God gave me kids. Like, there's so many people that I know personally or that I follow who struggle with infertility. I mean, I know that resonates with you. Like, you've been very open about that. And it just makes me feel like, how dare I even complain? Or like, God forbid, you know, our friend Brittany, who just lost a child. If anything, that makes you be like, it does not matter how hard my day was as a mom, like, everything will be fine. And like, yeah, so it's hard for me. I don't know, I was talking about this with somebody else about Beyonce opened up recently about, like, very after the fact that she had some severe postpartum depression. And sometimes I'm like, I wish the world could all maybe accept the, like, Beyonce way, and maybe it's because she's Beyonce, you know what I mean? But allow the fact that she still tried to do what she could in her job and her life and for her family, and that she shared the struggle later on, and we can be really supportive and just know, like, other people are probably going through that too, but don't feel forced to have to, like, share that openly unless you are really called to do it. Because I don't like what you said, the pressure of, like, well, you should be sharing the struggle, or like, maybe I want to share my struggle after I can, like, reflect on it and share how I got through it with you, like the way she did, you know what I mean? Like, I think sometimes there's a lot of pressure out there, for sure.
For sure. And to be able to learn whatever it is you're supposed to learn from it before you're like, I'm falling apart. Okay, well, I haven't learned anything yet, so I am not ready to open up about it yet. Maybe I won't ever be. So one thing that someone told me, because I remember feeling like I wasn't allowed to feel, I got some really interesting DMs when we were trying to have Dawson. And you know, the DMs are almost like a minefield because you don't know what it's going to be when you open it up.
You don't. When you click that open, you have no idea.
So I felt I was being sad that I couldn't get pregnant with him, and like those kinds of things were really, really hard for me because I couldn't reconcile the fact that I did have 2 children, but I felt like I was supposed to have more. I felt like God put it on my heart to have more. I come from a large family. Sean comes from a large family. Like, we always wanted more children and felt like we were supposed to. Now, whether they were biological or adopted, that wasn't something, like, that didn't bother me. I didn't care how I had my children, but I did feel like I always needed to have more. And sharing that it was hard during infertility opened up a whole thing where my grief that I have wasn't enough grief in order to even be considered grief, because other people were experiencing other things that were harder. So I think as moms, a huge thing for working through mom guilt is to say, this person has this, and at her hardest point, that was the hardest thing she's ever had to do. This person has this, and at her hardest point, this was the hardest thing she ever had to do. And across the board, what affects this person is going to be different what affects this person, but it doesn't change the fact that for you, as a woman, as a mom, as a wife, as an individual, that was very hard. And you do not have to feel guilty that what that was that you were going through was so hard. And so comparing grief and comparing trials and comparing how hard things are to one another does no one a service in any way. It's just a huge overall disservice. And I think that we will be able to work through, like, the mom guilt if we can take away the fact that we have to feel guilty for feeling bad when it's not. I don't know, like, if it wasn't grief enough or hard enough. Do you know what I mean?
Right. And sorry, I made a weird fit. My husband is, like, taking out the trash. I heard a really weird boom in the background. I don't know if anybody is going to be able to hear that, but I heard it. I was like, what happened? You said something else, though, that I do think as women, and I don't know if I got any questions, but I've got questions about it before, just about the comparison thing. Like, it just feels like it's a huge competition, whether it's on YouTube or Instagram or in bloggers or whatever it might be. And I'm curious, like, do you feel like there's a competition? And if so, do you, like, remove yourself from it? Or, like, how do you deal with that?
It's so interesting to me because I don't feel like I'm in competition with anyone outside of me because the world is huge, the business is huge, the industry is huge. If one person follows Kim Kardashian, it doesn't mean she can't follow me. You know what I mean? So like,
Right.
not that her audience would follow me because they're not my, like, I don't know who follows her. So, but to me, I feel no competition. If someone gets a deal, I think that's amazing. If someone's numbers grow, I think that's amazing. If someone is working really hard, I think that's amazing. It doesn't impact me in a negative way, if that makes sense.
Right.
So that's kind of how I feel. Like, what do you think about that?
Well, I 100% would say I think it is a competitive industry.
It is.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you definitely are times like you feel it. But that's when like you said, I'm like, I do not care if anything, whether it's my followers, likes, comment, like whatever the measure is, because there's all these little data points. I only care about is my little world, you know what I mean? My stuff all running at least, you know, where it was at previously or better. Like, I'm just in competition with myself, like you said.
That's how I feel as well.
Because there's too many, like, really, if you think about it, there's way too many like little factors. That's why somebody could be growing all of a sudden. Like, you know what I'm just saying? There's so many things that go into it. So I would rather just compete with myself. And I feel like that's how I was my whole life, even in school with like grades. Like, I didn't care what anybody else's grades were, what they did. Like, I just wanted to make sure I was meeting my standard. Like, you know, I don't know.
Yeah, so. No, I am literally on exactly whatever page that is you're on. That is how I feel 100%. Like, I would, and I do think too, it's neat to be able to be like, you know what? I think that they did a really good job. That's cool for them.
Yes.
Like, that's really neat.
Yeah.
I have never had a poll like one way or the other that was negative if someone like got something or like did a good job. So for me, it's always been like, okay, how is my platform running? Am I creating content that is true to me, but also makes my audience feel like there's a reason for them to be here? And am I also making sure that I'm spending enough time with my children, my husband, taking care of my house, snuggling my dog because he's like my favorite human, and I don't know. But okay, so we totally ran out of time because we are giving you really in-depth answers, like, and not just like little sprinklings. But I would love to hear, like, if you could just take a second and talk to your audience and tell them like something that was on your heart, like what would it be that you would share with them?
I think, so this was something when I really reflected on why I even started my YouTube channel, why I wanted to do my blog, why I wanted to do Instagram, anything. I originally had done it just because I wasn't intending to share it with the world. It was just to be shared with my family. So it was just the little tidbits and personal things that really mattered to me. And then once the audience kind of started growing, I of course wanted to continue sharing like things that matter to me, but how I could help people. Like, that's at my core of everything I've ever done. I've been a teacher, I was a recruiter helping people find jobs. Like, I just have always wanted to help. And I think that in every single person's life, God has given you some sort of a gift or some sort of special quality, characteristic, unique talent that what you see on Instagram might not be what you're really, really good at, but you were given your gifts and your talents for a reason to help people and help the world and help your family and help the people in your circle. And that's just what I would want every single person to really think about. You know, we're kind of in this like New Year's goals, resolutions mindset, but it's like, how are you really going to take what your true talent is that sets you apart from everyone else and help as many people as you can with it, or help your family with that special, unique talent gift? So that's just what I would say.
I love that so much. Okay, well, my thoughts are literally, okay, I say that because that's what Lila says. Lila says literally all the time. It's so funny. But my thoughts are in line with that so perfectly. Like, I feel like every single person was made to be so unique. And that is one of the beautiful things about the human condition that we have here in this life, is that we are unique and we are different, and we are given these talents and these abilities, and what I do is different than what you do. And but also to remember that your talents aren't necessarily perfect the first time. And so when you set out to do something, you, just because it doesn't go 100% perfect or exactly how you wanted or however you dreamed the first time, doesn't mean that that talent isn't your talent, and doesn't mean it can't be cultivated and grown and changed and nurtured into this big giant fruit tree, you know, like if you start with this little seed or if you cheat like I do and go to Home Depot and get like a sapling so you can grow it that way, like your sapling can be a giant tree, and it just needs to be nurtured and fed, and don't give up just because you didn't look at it and boom, see it turn into a tree, if that makes sense.
I love that. That's so beautiful. That's a beautiful metaphor. Yeah.
Well, thank you. Oh my goodness. Well, I have absolutely adored spending time with you tonight. I appreciate you on every level. You are wonderful and kind and generous and so genuine, and that is something that I hope that everyone can, because I can feel it from your videos and I can see it and hear it when I talk to you, and so I just want to like reiterate that to everyone that is listening, that this is like, anyways, you're wonderful. So thank you for spending your evening with me, and I appreciate you so much.
Yeah, thank you. No, I feel the same way about you, and just thank you for having me on your podcast. This is really, really cool. So
yeah, well, you're fantastic and you do such a good job. So thanks for being here, and I know you have a lot of things to do, so if you want to just like say goodbye to everybody, and then I will do all of the end work here.
Just thank you so much, and again, if you want to check out my YouTube channel, I'm Brianna K. I don't know when this podcast is going live, but I know I have my Valentine's Day Decorate With Me coming up that I've been working really, really hard on. That should be good, but I just have some other like homemaking and cleaning videos coming up in the near future too. And my blog is bitsofbrieblog.com, and my Instagram is @bitsofbrie, and I've got just a ton of like free organizing printables, labels, bunch of fun stuff if you're looking to get organized for this new year that you can check out over on my blog as well.
Okay, so subscribe to her blog and her YouTube channel. If you subscribe to the blog, that's where you'll get the digital downloads.
Yes.
So, okay. Alrighty, well thanks. We'll talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye. Alright guys, thanks for tuning in. I am so glad that you're here. If you are not already, make sure you hit subscribe and subscribe to my YouTube channel and to my podcast as well. And thank you so much for tuning in. I'm not crazy, I'm exhausted. And yeah, that's all. Okay. Bye.